Nigeria family law encompasses the legal framework governing family relationship, encompassing marriage, divorce, child custody and inheritance matter. This multifaceted legal system draws from the three distinct sources: statutory law, customary law and Islamic law, creating a unique structure that mirrors Nigeria's rich culture and religious diversity. What is marriage itself? Marriage, also known as matrimony or wedlock, is a culturally and legally recognized union between spouses that creates mutual rights and obligations. This institution, found across virtually all cultures, acknowledges intimate relationship and often serves as the socially accepted framework for sexual activity and family formation. The global trends and variation. Modern society increasingly promotes equal rights and combats discrimination against diverse couples, including interethnic, interracial, interfaith, same-sex, and immigrant partnerships. However, debates continue over women's marital rights, domestic violence, dowry practice, marriageable age, and sexual conduct outside marriage. People marry for various reasons: for legal, social, emotional, financial, spiritual, cultural, economic, potential, religious, sexual and romantic purpose. While some regions practice arranged marriages, polygamy and child marriage, others prohibit this practice to protect human rights. Recognition and authority. Etymology. The term marriage derives from Old French words marriage, Old French marriage, 12th century, ultimately from a Latin maritatus, married. Matrimony comes from the Latin matrimonium, based on mater, mother, emphasizing the connection to motherhood and family formation. In typological definition, scholars have struggled to create universal definition given marriage cultural diversity. Historical perspective: we have the Westermark in 1981, a durable connection between male and female lasting beyond reproduction until after offspring birth, while later revised in 1936, a relation recognized by custom or law between one or more men and women. We want to look at the legitimacy-based definition. Notes and queries in 1951 defined marriage as a union ensuring children born to the woman are recognized as legitimate offspring of both partners. However, critics note this definition fails in society where legitimacy isn't tied to marriage. Rights-based framework. Edmund Leach argued that marriage should be understood through the various rights it establishes, including legal parenthood establishment, sexual exclusivity rights, control over domestic labour, property rights and control, joint property partnership for children, social relationship between extended family. Marriage classification in Nigeria. Nigeria recognizes three distinct forms of marriage, each with its own legal requirements and implications. We have the statutory marriage, customary marriage and Islamic. Statutory marriage conducted under the Marriage Act with full recognition requires formal registration and an authorized marriage registry, follows the principle of monogamy, one spouse per person, while customary marriage, rooted in traditional cultural practice and local customs, typically involves ceremonial elements such as bride price payment, governed by specific customs of the parties' communities. Islamic marriage, performed according to Sharia principles, follows Islamic legal tradition and requirements recognized within Nigeria's pluralistic legal framework. Look at dissolution of marriage and legal separation. The legal grounds and procedures for ending marriages vary significantly based on the marriage type. Each form from a marriage has distinct requirements for dissolution, reflecting the different legal tradition from which they originate. While the child welfare and custody, Nigerian family establishes equal parental rights and responsibility for both mothers and fathers. Custody determination prioritize the child's best interest above all other considerations, including that decision serve the welfare and development of children involved. Property and financial rights. The legal system addresses property ownership and distribution both during marriage and following its dissolution. This includes comprehensive provision for inheritance matters and the equitable distribution of marital assets. Legal adoption procedure. Nigeria provides a structured legal process for individuals seeking to assume parental responsibility for non-biological children with specific requirements and safeguards to protect all parties. We have post-marriage financial support. The law establishes provision for ongoing financial support following divorce or separation with determination based on individual circumstances and needs. The family legislative framework includes the Marriage Act, regulates the solemnization of statutory marriages, enforces monogamous marriage principles, sets registration and documentation requirements, while the Matrimonial Causes Act addresses legal issues arising from statutory marriages, covers divorce proceedings, legal separation, custody arrangement and main ten ance obligation. Matrimonial cases rules provides procedural guidelines for court handling matrimonial matters, establishes processes for case management. Fundamental principles. We have gender equality. While Nigerian law strives to ensure equal treatment of spouses, traditional customs and religious practices may sometimes create practical challenges to achieving complete equality in all circumstances. We have child-centered approach. All decisions regarding children prioritize their welfare, safety and developmental needs as the paramount consideration in legal proceedings. Cultural accommodation. This legal system acknowledges and accommodates Nigeria's multicultural society by recognizing different marriage traditions and legal systems, allowing various communities to maintain their cultural practices within broader legal framework. Marriage formation. Method of marriage formation and legal recognition. Marriage can be established through various legal pathways, including the civil ceremonies, religious ceremonies, common law unions with availability depending on local jurisdiction. Additionally, prenuptial prenuptial agreements serve as a complementary legal instrument that address financial arrangement without constituting a form of marriage creation. Civil ceremonies. Civil marriages represent the most universally recognized form of marriage formation. These ceremonies are officiated by government-authorized individuals and typically take place in municipal buildings, courthouses or other approval venues. This process requires obtaining a marriage license beforehand, and couples receive an official marriage certificate upon completion of the ceremony. This form of marriage enjoys automatic legal recognition across jurisdictions, while the religious ceremony. Religious marriages are conducted within specific faith tradition, incorporating particular rituals, vows and spiritual elements meaningful to the couple's belief. While these ceremonies hold deep religious significance, their legal standing varies by jurisdiction and denomination. Many religious marriages require additional civil registration or licensing procedures to achieve full legal recognition by governmental. Common law unions. Certain jurisdictions recognize common law marriages for couples who live together for ex ten ded period while presenting themselves publicly as married partners. This relationship can acquire legal status equivalent to formal marriages without requiring ceremonial proceedings. However, common law recognition remains inconsis with significant variation in requirements and acceptance across different legal systems. Prenuptial agreement functions as a contractual arrangement that establish prior to marriage, detailing how couples will handle assets distribution, financial responsibility and property division should their marriage end in divorce or separation. While these agreements address important marital constitution, they do not influence the actual validity or formation of marriage relations. Want to look at the statutory characteristic of marriage formation requirement. Civil and religious marriages require formal ceremonial procedures and official documentation, while common law union develop through sustained cohabitation and public acknowledgement of relationship as marriage like in nature. Legal standing. Civil marriage receive universal legal recognition regardless of location. Religious marriage may require additional steps for legal validation depending on local laws and the specific religious tradition involved. Common law union face the most favorable recognition, with some jurisdictions fully accepting them while others provide no legal acknowledgement whatsoever. Financial planning tools. Prenuptial agreements operate as separate legal instruments focused exclusively on financial and property matters, serving to clarify expectation arrangements rather than establishing the premarital relationship itself. Types of marriage: we have the monogamy marriage, polygamy marriage, polygyny marriage and polyandry marriage. The monogamy marriage, one spouse at a time, linked to incentive farming society and dowry system. Serial monogamy, your marriage after divorce is common in Western countries with 50% divorce rate. We have the polygamy marriage, multiple spouses simultaneously, two main forms. We have the polygyny, one man multiple wives, historically common especially in agricultural society with bride prices, also create age gaps and power imbalances. Still practice in some cultures despite legal restriction in common most countries. Polyandry, one woman multiple husbands, rare but found in 53 societies, common where male mortality is high or land is scarce. We have in Himalayan fraternal polyandry, where brothers share one wife to keep family and land intact. Thank you for listening.